What is going on, everyone? I'm Tony. Welcome to another episode of The Markets. Still don't have a name for this. I don't think I need a name, but it is what it is. I'm going to start off with coronavirus update. That's obviously leading the markets, so it's something to focus on. So, total infections 127,000, almost 128. Confirmed deaths, we have 4,718. Total recovered, 68,310. This may be inaccurate. Yeah, so, I mean, things keep rocket fueling up. So you can see that we actually steeped off a little bit, but for the most part, we have a big change. So 1,323, 38 confirmed dead. 8 people have successfully recovered. Good. And then let's look at the states here. So Washington, 373 dead. Crazy. New York, I'm sorry, that's infected. Jeez, I was like, wow, that doesn't even make sense. 30 dead. It's still horrible, but nowhere near as bad as 373. Apologies for that. So Washington, 30 confirmed dead. California, 4. Florida 2, New Jersey 1, South Dakota 1. So, yeah, not good. Not good. There's a lot of things that have unraveled in the last couple of days. Actually, not even the last couple of days, the last hours, 24 hours, in fact. We had a Trump address, a presidential address, saying that travel is banned from Europe for 30 days. There's a weird little loophole where the UK can go through. So I don't know how that. Anyways, whatever. I don't want to get into that part. The NBA suspended the season. Nuckin' futz. NCAA cancels March Madness. MLB ceases operations. NHL ceases season suspended. Disneyland has closed. I mean, this is kind of like what most people economically would consider like a worst case scenario, right? Where a virus, this is like a movie. This is like that movie Contagion or something like that. It's one of those. It's a crazy thing that's happening, and yeah, it is. It is a pretty bad virus. I've been reading up on it more and more. And XM Radio has a station dedicated to coronavirus, and it's there's really no solution. So it's a lot of people are rightfully scared. It's in my case, I think about not so much myself, and thankfully, I saw an article where, or maybe it was on that XM Sirius channel, where they said that kids under 8, there have been no cases, and that includes the massive test case that there is in China. So that's great news. And then the younger you are, the less susceptible you are to this. But anybody over 60, really anybody over 50, in my opinion, but 60 and over is what they're basically saying, especially if they have some underlying health issues, especially respiratory, pulmonary, that kind of thing. There are vaccines that apparently you can get to kind of reinforce or build up your system. I would highly encourage you go out and seek that if you need it. But it's a scary kind of situation. Even if you are not in the danger zone, you may infect someone you love, someone you care about. So it's kind of like a weird kind of thing, and I think this is going to happen for another couple of months at least, unless there's some some amazing news. Trump also addressed the payroll tax cuts and a couple other things. And I was expecting the market to temporarily rally last night. It did not. It basically went against everything. So, and you can see that those fears have reflected not only the stock market, as we can, if we close here, you can see here, there's like these little cute blips over here. Well, you can't see my cursor. Got to fix that. But on the top right of the basic materials, you see that you have XOM, ExxonMobil, and there's like a tiny little blip here and there of green. And a world of poo. So we have aerospace defense products up 78%. Oil gas company. I don't know who that would. I guess that's a basic materials section. Biotechnology, diversified machineries, applied software. Application software, drugs, biotech. Yeah, education service. Kind of makes sense. I don't know what these people do, but if they do any kind of teaching remotely, that makes sense that this would rally. Kind of anything that's gonna rally, in my opinion, is going to be stocks that are not. They're going to be either directly affecting solving coronavirus or providing masks, that kind of thing. People are going to speculate on all kinds of pharma, biotech companies to see if they come up with the solution. Masks, that kind of thing. And then this K-12, I can almost guarantee you. Let me see what they do. I guarantee I should never say guarantee because you never know, but to me, it sounds like if this is rallying, it's probably because they do education online, most likely. So K-12 Inc., a technology-based education program, together with subsidiaries, provides online curriculum software. Yeah, so that's basically what that is. Makes sense. So these are the kind of companies that are going to be rallying at this point in time. So without further ado, let's look at the charts. And there's something interesting. So if you've been paying attention to my videos, you'll notice that my target was hit. And I did this target. Let me go into the daily. This target was set way back over here. And this is not me guessing what was going to happen or being an oracle or anything like that. I just did a simple retracement. I assumed if this was a swing low, if we do the calculation from that swing high to this swing low, the 38.2 was around here. And then I drew a Fibonacci trend extension. It actually went a little bit higher. It actually touched just above the 50% range of that swing low. Swing high, swing low Fibonacci. So when I recalculated it, it gave me a first target here at the 61.8 at 2,800. We hit that a couple days ago, and then seeing that we had no real good, solid, positive news, I just basically saw this other target, the 100%. Here being the 2592 being the next target, and that was hit and beyond exceeded. I mean, destroyed that target. So that ABCD has completed. Here's the scary part. We basically closed. If we look at the SPY, we closed beyond this trend line. This trend line has been historical support for freaking ever. Since like 2000. I mean, there was one. If we zoom in here, I don't even think. Yeah, we had a tail below it, like a shadow, but we didn't close below that. So this goes back to 2011. So that gives you an idea where we are now. So ever since 2011, this trend line has held true. And today it has broken and closed in past that section there. So we may have a new trend. We have to see. We just have to see what happens. I don't want to guess anymore. I wasn't really guessing. I was just going statistically based on everything that I do. These levels typically get hit, and we saw it. I didn't really want this to hit, but it did. And so if you shorted that, congrats. I really wasn't in on that trade. I did little things here and there, but I wasn't in. I've been kind of just. So here's my perspective. The news and the fundamentals for me are, when they're so obviously up in the air, that I consider to be, it's hard. Like I believe in technicals so much that I try to be 50-50. I try to not be biased one way or another. So even though all these videos say technical analysis and whatnot, I do believe in fundamentals, and I think they have a big part to play. But when the market is normal, when the market is kind of like trending in a normal, healthy way, for me, technical analysis is usually like it's my bread and butter. But when it hits the fan, that's when I kind of, reevaluate and say, the reality is that no matter how good your technical analysis is, um, any kind of news or fundamental information is going to trump it. So, no pun intended there. But yeah, so we had the presidential Trump addressed, the nation, the presidential address about coronavirus, and you see how that was how the market reacted. So I'm not going to say it overreacted. It just, if so the question is, had he not had that address, would we still be in this little consolidation region between the 2860 and 2738? Would we be there? I don't know. Eventually, I think we would have probably come down here, so it's kind of hard to say. But we're here, so what can we expect? So my first way of thinking about this is I draw a 45-degree trend line from this point. And I have that be my guide. For me, there's no guessing, no nothing. So the way I see it, unless we break above this trend line, on the other side of this trend line, we are still bearish. We just are. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. So I'm actually going to delete these A, B, C, D lines now. It's not have everything look so cramped up in here. So let me delete. I'm going to start clearing some of this stuff out because obviously this target was already hit. I'll take this little sucker out. This one I had left, see if we had hit. Finally hit it. Posted about it on my Twitter. I think it's the most active that I've been on Twitter for a very long time. And let me see here. Sorry, I wanted to see if I pull up my other trading view chart on my phone to get some general ideas of what to could look forward. And okay, so we have the 200 EMA is way up here. So we still have a bunch of trend lines. I don't know if I want to delete them or not. It's not like it's that difficult to put them back on, but that's fine. That's fine. We have, so we're basically okay. So I'm going to delete. Actually, let me leave this trend extension, and then if we go back to a weekly chart, let's maximize this. So I have this Fibonacci extension going from, not extension, sorry, this Fibonacci study going from this swing low in 2009 to a swing high of this year, February 2020, but February 3rd, give or take. February 10th, maybe. I'm on a weekly, so it's going to skip. And you can see that it's actually interesting because on this Fibonacci range, so this is a big Fibonacci range, right? So, but from this swing low to this swing high, if we're not even at that 38.2, but it looks like we're easily on our way there. If we do continue, we closed here basically. I mean, I am on the E-mini, so they're not going to, actually, they might have closed actually. Yeah, they are. Yeah, we're in that 1 hour span. So we closed beyond this trend line. That is a concern. So now, what do I expect to happen? The funny thing is that it actually hit this target here, the 1.272 on the trend extension. Kind of super interesting. That's how crazy of a move today was, everyone. I mean, this is so crazy. I mean, you guys are watching history unfold, market history. This is the kind of, you know, price action that's going to, people call it Monday, Black Monday, with the whole oil thing that's happened. This whole last week or two, this is going to be, in the record books, along with 2008/9. It's going to be there with the 87 crash. It's going to be there with the 29 crash. It's stunning so far. I mean, so far we are down. Let me see percentage wise. So far, as of today, we are down 28% in a factor of 2, maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, we're closing our third week on Friday. So yeah, that's a pretty big move. I mean, if we look at 2008, we're going to see that that price action was probably not that far off, huh? Now, granted, this is not price adjusted. Like, if we actually get the true real dollars, it's probably going to look a little bit. Probably no, it will look a lot different if we compare it with the money supply from Fred, from the Fred charts. I'm pretty sure it's going to be adjusted differently. But just looking at the charts as it is, this was a 58% drop in a span of about 518 days, so a year and a half, give or take. We've had half of that movement in 3 weeks. I mean, need I say more? I mean, that's how insane that is. 2008, 2007 so swing high 2007, October 2007 to a swing low of March 2009 was 518 days. 518 divided by 360? Not 360, 352 days, right? A year. So about a year and a half. So again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we've had half that movement in 3 weeks. Just wanted to put it out there one more time. So at this rate, I think it's very likely that we come down here and we test this 50% region, the 50% range of that swing low to the swing high. So where would that put us? It basically would put us, and funny enough, when I zoom into this chart, you can see the volume profile. It's going to shift a little bit, but it's actually kind of in confluence with this little region there. So this is obviously a horizontal here. Am I pressing the right button? Yeah. So the point of control here, price is going to want to be driven down here. There's very little volume-wise. If we look at this little section here, keep pointing at it, but I realize that my cursor is not there. So this section here, pretty empty. So I can expect this region here to get just price action to move rather quickly and go back to this general price action here. Again, this is more of a zone, not really an exact kind of a study there, but that kind of gives you the range that I see likely happening. I think we're going to be in this price range. We're on a weekly here, but the way these things are going, I mean, it could be in a week or two. And frankly, I don't even know what to think, because the sharper the drop, the more likely we're going to be here for a longer period of time. So is it better to consolidate and work our way down here over time and then boom, market structure our way up? I think you'd want that, to be honest with you. I think you'd want this to be a slow grind. It's going to suck, but I think for the market to kind of go back to a healthy state, just kind of work its way up, or down, I should say. Where are these brushes? There we go. So maybe do something like this. So everybody's gonna, pain is gonna be strong here, and hopefully from here, kind of like go up, or maybe it keeps going down and hits this 61.8 level, and then from that shoots up. I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is that it's very likely that this gets hit here, this 50% level. There's just a lot of things pointing to it. We have the one thing there was a couple things protecting it, but that's no longer a thing. So I think we just kind of got to take it day by day. It's gonna suck. It's gonna ruin quite a few portfolios out there. But if you're smart, you're able to kind of see ways to make money. If there's a ton of inverse ETFs, you can short certain markets if you have. Don't do any of this unless you consult a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. The only thing I can say is do your own research, but there are ways. I mean, the market is one of the few places where you can actually make money when it goes down. So you might want to take advantage of that amazing ability to capitalize on something like that. So long story short, where do I see not myself, but the market, the S&P 500 going? Honestly, I think it won't be shocking if we hit this level. Just that's what it is. I'm going to leave this marked just because I see it. I just see it happening. Let me see if we see on the RSI if we have something. So I could have sworn that we had. Oh, I think it was on the daily. But you know what? Now we're on the weekly here. Sorry, I got a little stuck here with looking at some stuff here. So we're gonna see. It might no, for sure it'll take maybe 2-3 weeks if we keep going to. I don't think this is gonna. I mean, I'll be very surprised if this is like such a sudden dump down here. But again, anything could happen. But we have to work our way lower, and once we get down here to these oversold regions on the stochastic on the weekly, I would expect at least a little bit of a bounce. So we'll see. I'm not going to sugarcoat it on the weekly. This looks like crap. It's just nothing looks good about it. I mean, this is a major break. So this trend line was holding relatively true, and then finally broke. Great. Now I have these alerts ringing in my ears. So broke from here, and you can see that this is just basically a straight shot to the bottom. So let's go to the daily here, and I wonder if you can hear this little ring. I have it for some reason. I have these TradingView alerts going off for a minute, and I have so many of those freaking alerts that finding it is kind of annoying. But anyways, here was that what I was talking about, a possible bullish divergence yesterday. Yeah, no longer. As soon as that trend line that I drew there was broken, basically invalidated my my theory there. So that sucked. Not in a big way. It is what it is. I mean, you try to. I mean, it's still. If you look at it, I mean, this is still. I mean, I'm not going to say bullish, but if we're able to bounce off this trend line, I just adjusted it, so we'll keep an eye on it. But we basically would be making higher highs in the RSI while price keeps making lower lows. So, I'm not going to apologize for that, but I mean, technically that's not shabby at least on a daily chart. And pretty much the same thing with stochastic. If you can see here, stochastic is looking a little uppy, just a hair uppy. Uh, but yeah, I don't wanna pretend that it's all sugarcoating. What this could be, okay, so we had a close down here. Let me take this price one off. Um, so we had a close below the trend line, and who's to say that it won't, the next day or two or something, maybe it'll bounce up and it'll continue respecting this trend line. It happens. It's not the more a trend line gets tested and broken, the weaker it gets, for lack of a better word, a little better term. So, but that could happen. I mean, this is kind of looking like it might be like that might happen um, on the stochastic and the RSI. So again, no guarantees. Anything I'm saying now is just it's just for giggles, I guess. Um, we also can keep an eye on this trend line here, because we had support, 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 broke, resistance. So now this is essentially kind of like a rising wedge. I think that's what it is. So we'll kind of see what happens. It's the best you can do. You just got to play with it. So what I'm seeing personally here is I'm going to keep an eye on, I guess I could, let me see if I can take this off, visibility only on the weekly. So I'm going to keep this up on the daily. So I want to see what happens with these trend lines. Do we break below this, meaning that we're likely going to see that 50% touch sooner than later? Or, which is a target of give or take 2,000, 2,050, 2,000. I actually I posted about that on Twitter. I think I said that already. Or do we bounce off this trend line and then kind of like just play our way up here? And then if we break above it, that would be very bullish. So we'll see. So when I say break above it, I mean this, by the way. So that it touches, and then breaks above, and then considers it support, that kind of thing. That would be, in my opinion, best case scenario. But we want to see what happens here. We want to see, we just got to give it time. Right now, we had that ABCD, which I'll redraw. So this ABCD, which if you clone it, gave us, ooh, what the heck is that? Okay, so gave us our target right here. That's done. It is what it is. Theoretically, when that gets hit, when an ABCD harmonic level gets hit, you should have a retracement. We didn't have a retracement, so I mean, the only thing we can do is kind of like just play it by ear. Some people may play with this idea of it, but we don't even have a higher high right now, so I don't like to mess with that. So I'm gonna take these trend lines. They've already been, not trend lines. These these trend lines. This ABCD. Take that off. I'm gonna take this sucker off here too, because I don't want to pretend too much to know what's going on. And yeah, we got to see what happens there without without rambling too much more. I think that's just it. Upside targets, I really don't have any right now. I mean, my only upside target would be, hey, can we go above this trend line? That would be my upside target. Let's try to, let's small goals. Let's close above. Let's close tomorrow on a daily above that trend line. And to me, that is a good start. So far, that's basically what we're looking at. So I think I'm going to end it there on the S&Ps. And I mean, as you can imagine, there's nothing is pretty right now. But we can look at crude oil just for, so crude oil is still consolidating here in this little section there. So that's, at least that's behaving. I haven't even followed up to see what's going on with these wars, but I guess we can keep, I don't know what's up with my mouse lately. So keep this maybe there, see what happens there. And then, what else? I guess we can look at Tesla real quick. I expect nothing good. Yeah, pretty much as expected. Yeah, pretty much every single stock is going to be reacting the same way. So that's why I like looking at the S&P 500. It just gives us like a broad picture of everything. So let's look at Bitcoin. I know that that one had a nice little painful morning as well. So on Bitcoin, we same thing. We had that head and shoulders that I had drawn a couple days ago with that extension. So this is just reflecting that height, and it gave us a target of basically the 6,300, give or take. Again, blew it out of the water, and right now we are sitting at, did we touch? No, we didn't touch the 78.6 of that swing low from 2018 to swing high of June 2019. So we're at that 78.6 level, which would tell us that more, it's there's no guarantees, but it's likely that we're going to hit 55.64. Yeah, so our low today was 55.64. We're still, day's not close, we still got the 2 hours. But we're looking at, I can see 5,424 being a target. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure. I think we may have some more downside with Bitcoin. I don't know, nobody wants to hear that, but so if we draw this, well, actually, we don't even have, well, it would be right there, I guess. We basically had, why did I say keep happening? There we go. So that extension pretty much also, it was pretty close to confluence with this head and shoulders. So all of these targets are done. So let's just take those suckers off, right? Try to keep charts as clean as possible. So we had this, I think I drew this yesterday. So I'm going to now draw this Fibonacci here. Oh, dear God, these messages. So yeah, let me go into the 4 hour. I think I had seen, this is where it gets kind of, a little iffy here, because we really don't know what's going to happen. So if we take this, I guess you can kind of, I've seen some people suggest this. It's not the cleanest ABCDs, so I don't personally like it. But if that were to come true, where does that leave us? That leaves us with a target of $4,000. Kind of scary. I mean, it's not scary. It's just, it is what it is. But the scarier part is that would break our trend line. So we have a trend line, and let me go to the daily actually to show you how, actually this is on a log chart. That trend line goes back to 2015. So in Bitcoin terms, actually, I just realized that that trend line is not going to hold because it is now on a different playing field. So let me try to draw, because you can go from this bottom here. So I would say I will keep, yeah, okay. So that's kind of like the little bit of a trickiness of playing with using the same chart, but then using the log and the non-log charts, because then your trend lines get a little funky there. So we broke past that trend line, which sucks, but at least we have this one here that's kind of protecting us. So we can see a downside. Let me see if I draw this again. Did I draw? Oh, it's on the 4 hour. So where'd that go? Oh, because I get this sucker on the 4 hour. Go back to the 4 hour. All right. So yeah, so even if we draw that one, that target would break the trend line. So if, and again, that's a big if, because I don't see that as being the cleanest of ABCDs. So why is it so crappy? There we go. So yeah, I don't know. I really would want to see this. So this swing high to this swing low, and then have basically have new higher highs, which I guess we can kind of fake with the Fibonacci. And if, let's assume it goes to the 38.2, the target would be 42.20. So somewhere between 4,000 and 4,200. Again, this is not a guarantee. This is just completely hypothetical situation here, but kind of interesting to see potential targets there. But having drawn this this extension here, not extension, the Fibonacci swing high, swing low, it's very likely that we get a touch at this 38.2. Right now we're below this trend line at 6,300. So horizontal 6,300. I would expect to have at least a little bit of a jump and a little bit of a rally, and test that horizontal and test it to see if it's truly resistance, or can we break through it and have it act as support. So I think that's it for today. There's a lot of, it's just the markets are kind of all over the place, so it's kind of hard to give you a solid plan. But just be smart. If you're trying to buy Bitcoin long term, just dollar average in. Don't go crazy. Don't put 100% of your funds in. Just put 5% here, 5% there, or whatever percentage you feel is comfortable. And if you're trading it, just learn how to trade and do it to the best of your abilities. And then above all, money management. Risk management, money management. That's probably better than being a badass trader, because you could be the best trader in the world and have 20 consecutive wins and then blow it because you don't know how to manage your money. So, and you could be a crappy trader and have under 50% win rate, but your money management skills would actually have you profit in the long term. So it's multiple things. So if you're planning on trading, learn how to trade before anything. Consult a financial advisor. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe if you haven't, and share it with people on Twitter, anywhere you think this might be valued. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and don't get wrecked. Peace.